It is the birthday of India's 12th Grandmaster Magesh Chandran. So fabulous birthday to him. We wish him a great year ahead. Here are 4 positions I have picked from his games. I had sent him some questions and he answered them all, so I'm also going to read out his answers. So while I do that, you can consider the best moves in these positions. When I asked him when he started chess, he said that he started chess when he was in the 2nd grade and he learned the game from his brother and his friend. And he also used to play a lot of games with his parents as well. Some of the best accomplishments of Magesh Chandran are that he won the Asian Junior Championship in 2003. He tied for first in World Open in 2005, and he also had great results in Badalona Open and Moncada Open. And when I asked him about his favorite players, he mentioned Vishwanathan Anand, Bobby Fischer, and Vladimir Kramnik. And he feels that his favorite opening is Reti, which goes by Knight F3, G3, and Bishop G2 move order. And I asked him 3 non-chess books, and I really loved the list. So here are the books: Phantom of the Brain, written by Ramachandran; A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bryson; Freedom at Midnight; and then Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. I think all these 4 books have interesting titles. You can also consider reading them. And when I asked him about his favorite movies, he mentioned Braveheart, Father of the Bride, Remember the Titans, and Matrix. I think among the Indian Grandmasters I have talked to so far, very few have actually mentioned Matrix in their list. So I really like that. I love Matrix as well. And yeah, you are also actually in a scene right now where I have given you 4 positions. You are supposed to choose the best move, very close to choosing the right pill. Coming back, when I asked him about what's the biggest lesson he's learned through chess, he feels that everything that he has learned so far is through chess. And he mentioned the steps as follows: handle a loss, analyze the possibilities, understand how a situation is, and then understand the illusion of control. He goes by this quote, C'est la vie. So it's a French phrase, and the translation is such is life. So with the ups and downs, life is filled with surprises. Try to live life as long as it lasts. And then when I asked him if there are some things he would like to tell the viewers about himself, he tells that he is an avid fan of learning, and he thinks that learning has no bounds and it keeps him on toes throughout life. The feeling of knowing something makes you cocky, and the feeling of not knowing something makes you insecure, but being right in the middle makes everything fun. Balance is the key to everything in life, and he also has a 5-year-old son now, and that definitely has changed his life's perspective. He is married to Women FIDE Master Anuprita Patil, and they together run a chess academy called Queens and Kings Chess Academy in the US. In fact, Abhimanyu Mishra also learned chess through Magesh Chandran. So he's also spending a lot of time on coaching these days. And when I was in my teenage years, I used to read his articles on chess.com. He, along with GM Kidambi, used to write a lot of articles on chess.com. You can even find them now if you just do a quick search. Now let's go to the chessboard. Here are the positions. Here his opponent was Zhao Xianchao, and he played bishop to e5. It's one way of supporting the pawn, and Magesh Chandran played pawn to b3, and then his opponent played bishop c4, and this was the turning point. It's a blunder, so take a moment to see what you would do as black. Kudos if you found rook takes e5, but do not stop here, because the answer is not just about one move. After rook into e5, there is b2, and then when white plays bishop a2 to stop the pawn promotion, black has king f8, keeping an eye on e8 square, so that rook d1 is possible next, and there is no back rank made. So after king f8, his opponent played king h2, but then rook d1, and now rook a1 will come soon. So on rook c5 he played rook c1, and this is the moment where his opponent resigned. The next tactical position is his game against none other than Mamediano Shakhriyar. In this case he was white. So let me just flip the board. Yes, and this was played in World Juniors 2003, and here this position is slightly easy. You just have to realize that this bishop on d5 is being protected by the knight on e7, so you eliminate this and then you play bishop into d5, and that way he managed to win material, and then he went on to win the game. Next position, This was his game that he played against Jonathan Dawson. Jonathan Dawson is a very good author. He has written books like Chess for Zebras, Seven Deadly Chess Sins. I think you can take a look at them. In this position, Jonathan Dawson has just played rook g8, attacking the bishop, and is relying on the fact that the bishop on b7 is also keeping an eye on g2. And here, Magesh Chandran surprised his opponent by going with bishop takes f6, and this means that he is willing to give up his queen. Because after bishop into g2, Magesh Chandran played queen takes g2, and after rook g2, he doesn't take g2 immediately, because if white takes king takes g2, there is bishop takes f6, and then if you play something like knight d5, there is queen g7 check. So the correct move here is knight to d5, an intermezzo, and then after queen c5, he goes bishop takes e7, threatening a mate on f8. And then in this position, if black goes rook g8, there is a mate here, a very deadly mate. I'm just giving you a moment to figure that out. Alright, it is rook takes f8 and then bishop g6. What a killer mate, isn't it? So in this position, after bishop into e7, his opponent played knight takes e6, and then Magesh Chandran took king into g2, and then after king d7 played bishop f5. Queen a5, he picked up the knight on e6 and gave a check, and then picked up the pawn on d6 and then got his other rook into the game, and then king is safely tucked to h1, rook f8 is coming, he won the game. Last position that I have picked, here he was black. I really liked how he conducted the game from here. It's black to play. Do you want to move the knight from g5 to h7, or do you want to do something else? So here is the matrix moment. What will you choose? Alright, in this position, black played d3, giving the square d5. So it's a clearance theme, and in this position, after bishop into d3, knight d4 was played. Now knight is coming to f3. So in order to deal with that, white chopped off this knight, but that doesn't stop black's initiative. Black goes hg5, attacking pawn on h4, and also the queen is still under attack. And then after queen goes to d1, he goes g takes h4, and then after knight f5, he played queen to g5. Now this knight is still under attack, and here his opponent played knight takes d4, and then after e takes d4, f4, he doesn't move the queen. In fact, he pins the pawn on f4 with bishop d6. And then after e5, he doesn't shy away from giving up the piece with bishop takes e5. In this position, white's king is having problems with defense, and after f5, queen e5, king h1, queen g3 followed, threatening an instant mate with queen h3. So white had to make room for his king, so white played rook f1, and there followed h3, and after knight e1, the bishop came to g4 and queen d2, and now the job of the bishop on g4 is done. So the bishop retreats back to d7, because now it can go to c6 and pose a lot of problems. And after bishop e2, he goes rook e3, and then you see the entire game, the other rook also joins the game. Bishop f3, rook e8, and after bishop d5, he plays bishop f5, knight f3, king g7, rook g1, queen f4, rook a f1, and now bishop d3, attacking the rook on f2, and then after rook f2, he plays bishop to e4. There are many ways to win in this position, but the variation or the continuation chosen by Magesh Chandran is good enough for black to win. There are no dangers. After bishop e4, queen e4, his opponent played rook g3, and now he brought this rook into action via h8, and after king h2, queen f4, he played rook h4, and then after queen g1, rook g4. So now it's understandable why I chose this position, because the black's domination is clearly visible. After rook f1, he plays f5, and after queen f2, he plays d3. So white is in some kind of a zugzwang, and he will eventually win. Black will eventually win, because for example, if white plays something like b3, let's say, there's already rook e2 threat. So in order to prevent rook e2, if white plays rook e1, then there is rook takes f3. So if you take queen takes f3, then there is queen d2 check, and the rook on e1 is also following. So in this position, after d3, his opponent resigned, and that's a win for Magesh. So I would like to thank Magesh Chandran for taking his time to answer the questions, and I wish him a happy birthday again. And dear viewers, I hope you liked the video, and I also hope you liked the books and movies that came out in this video. You can consider checking them out. and definitely recommend watching Matrix. It's also one of the favorite movies of our Grandmaster. Alright then, I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care. Bye bye.